Okay, so I really just wanted to come on really quick and show you guys what I'm eating for lunch. I'm about to make my husband's lunch. This is just leftovers, but I just kind of want to talk a little bit about health and wellness. So me personally, like, I've always eaten really healthy, and I was talking to my sister about this, and all of my meals have just always turned out that way. I will, give some credit to Pinterest because I do get a lot of inspiration from Pinterest, but I just love eating healthy. I think a big part of this has also been because I used to be like vegetarian, pescatarian, plant-based. And so I just love the way I felt when I was plant-based. But I couldn't really stick with plant-based. Me personally, I was a little malnourished. It didn't work for me. And I know for a lot of people, it doesn't work for you either. Because a lot of people are like, well, just be plant-based and go plant. And it's like, it really doesn't work for anybody. Please don't worry. I'm not malnourished. I think you guys are seeing my dimple. It's weird. I don't know why my cheek is looking like that, or maybe it's just giving indentation. I don't know. I'm a little concerned. Okay, so I made a chicken, it was chicken, what do you want to call it? Chicken chipotle bowl. So I've got the chicken. This is refrigerated, so I need to heat it up. But this chicken and peppers in this, I seasoned this really, really well with Mrs. Dash salt-free seasoning. It was the Southwest. So that's all squared away. And then I did brown rice. I really only like brown rice. White rice, I just can't really seem to get it right. I wouldn't mind a jasmine rice. But I just can't really get into the white rice. Not because it's not good. I actually think it's really tasty. But just the simple fact that I just like white rice, I just can't seem to make it. It always turns out mushy. It just doesn't really gel. So, and then I have some corn, which we didn't have canned corn, which I was kind of happy about. So I was like, well, let me take some raw corn. Took the raw corn, peeled it, did all of that. And then I had some elote seasoning. So after I finished peeling the corn, I just sprayed it with a little olive oil, and then I put this elote seasoning on it, which I got from Trader Joe's, and it's called Everything But the Elote. And this was really good. So I just put lime on it once it was roasting or whatever. It didn't really give me the roasted vibe. I do think that you would have to kind of put it in a skillet if you want a little bit more of that charred look. Charred look. I don't know why I can't talk today. And then I ended up making just a little veggie medley for the sauce. So I do have canned salsa, but I don't really like canned salsa. I'm not opposed, but I just have never really found a really good one. I'm not gonna get into oh, it's salty, which I will say this too. One thing I noticed about me and just my body, if something it's just too many preservatives, it's just not really giving fresh and healthy, I just pick up on that, and I'm just this is just disgusting. It just doesn't really taste good. So then I had made some kale, and this is just chopped. So I just chopped this up. I did take a little bit of the Hidden Valley ranch seasoning, which is just a little bit of this. I put a little bit of this in there, nothing too crazy. Again, I'm just not really I think for me, I'm just all about the health. So yes, I want the food to be seasoned, but I'm never going to overdo it, especially when I know it has salt. So a little bit of the ranch seasoning on the kale, and then I just put some lime, which this is just the remaining lime, in case we wanted any extra. And for the medley, I just literally cut up some cucumbers and tomatoes, which English cucumbers are literally my favorite. If you've never had an English cucumber, once you try them, you're never going back. So they're so good. So yeah, and this is just a little bit of Himalayan salt, pink salt. I didn't have pepper, but I did have some green seasoning, which I don't even know what brand this is. Heritage Fair green seasoning, just a little bit of this, and then a little bit of the salt, and then some lime and lemon. And so that's the bowl. And then you just make it. This is mine. I'm actually eating this right now for lunch. And I kind of did section it off, and I'll honestly probably put that as the photo so you guys can see that somewhere in this video. But yeah, and that's literally how I did it. And this was a very affordable meal. These are chicken breasts that we had in the freezer. It was only 2, so I was like, let me cut these up, make it cute, really thin. My husband doesn't really like the chicken breast, and I'm not opposed, but I didn't know that chicken thighs are a little bit different, and they are better, gotta say, contrary to popular belief, right? And so just mix it all together, put your kale in there, and yeah, that's pretty much it. So I just wanted to come on and kind of just talk about how I made the chipotle bowl, and it was so good. So the fresh corn really did it. It looks so much better too, and I feel too, canned corn is very sweet, so very affordable. These were black and pinto beans I mixed together in the pot, and I just put a little bit of garlic powder on them. So yeah. So my tips for like healthy eating is always just focus on how you feel. Like if it's Sunday, I may do something a little bit more heavier. But just overall, I've never been a heavy-handed person with like seasonings and stuff like that. Because I don't know. I just feel like it doesn't make me feel good to eat like super heavy. So I believe that the best practices for healthy eating is always focus on how you feel. Now, I'm nobody's nutritionist, okay? I am not a dietitian, but like really focus on how you feel about the food that you consume. You don't have to be, cutting up cucumbers. I was going to say mushrooms, but you don't have to be cutting up mushrooms and eating eggplant and doing the butter squash. You don't have to do all that. You know what I mean? Like to eat healthy, it's really just about like making food that feels good for your body. And like two, if it's lunch, I definitely like to keep it really light. So that's why I'm like adding kale to the bowl because, it's actually still pretty fresh. So